pause. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to
Quark's project.
Boo! Yeah, welcome back. So Maggie, I have a question for you.
Okay, go ahead. Ask away.
Ask away. Would you rather eat a delicious sheep brain boiled in Haidilao hot pot soup base or a white puffy juicy silkworm? Yum.
Nothing. Why would I wanna?
But
Why
you
would
have
I eat
to choose
any?
one. Gun to your head.
I'll eat the gun.
So you'd rather die?
No. Okay. No. What? That's too extreme. Let me think. Let me think. No, like you know what? I actually ate like
Crickets?
a bunch of worms and insects in Thailand.
Okay, bro, you already
No,
had your choice.
no. But like the worms, I ate like super thin ones, but they were so disgusting.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you taste like weird?
It just
stuff, or-
like it was a weird texture.
It's
I don't
ju-
know, like
it's just a
insert a
texture.
picture here.
But-
Insert a picture. But
but-
it's like I would never like you said a silkworm,
Yeah.
right? Those things are fat.
But
They're
they-
juicy. No way.
Squirt out.
Yeah, no.
Wait,
no,
but like,
no.
do they taste like anything, or it's just the texture?
I think I was too scared to taste anything. I was
Oh, you gulp it out.
yeah.
I've had cricket at one point, like grasshoppers. It was okay.
Ew. Did you eat the head?
No, I don't think I ate the head.
What did you eat?
I ate half of the butt, and I give the other to my cousin. He forced me to eat it, and I can't say I'm not game to eat it. If he eats it, I have to eat it.
Did you like my ASMR?
What did you do? I don't think we heard that. Anyways, so you choose. So moral of the story: you choose the brain.
Give me a second. Yeah, I choose the brain.
Okay.
There's no way I'm eating a fat silkworm. No way.
Yeah, I meant same. I'm actually a little bit curious to taste brain.
Because I heard like it's a common food actually.
It's
right?
pretty common in like the Sichuan area in China. They put it in hot pot, and yeah,
Yeah, we actually have a friend. I think one of his favorite food is
brain.
brain. Right? Am I right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we know someone. No gun to his head.
Yeah. But,
Well, I mean, you know what? In China, they will choose both. No gun needed.
well. But I better not see anyone in the comments dragging
Ew.
Chinese people as a whole
Chinese
down
people
because
eat
they eat
dogs.
everything. Yeah. No.
Yuck.
That's like such a common narrative. Every time there's like videos made about China, there's always this one guy in the comments saying like, "Oh my god, that's why Chinese people are bad. Oh, I hate China."
Eat everything that it touches. Those disgusting creatures.
Ugh. No, honestly though, I wouldn't eat any of those. We're fake Chinese.
But do you know why? Like, well, Chinese people tend to eat a lot more variety of food than, let's say, in the West.
I have my personal opinion, but I feel like you have educated opinion.
It's just my personal opinions too. I'm just educated.
Okay, I'm not educated. My bad. Educate me, please.
Yeah. I mean,
Step on me. Educate
yes,
me.
I will. Gladly. But I mean, like, first of all, I think it's pretty clear that China is a vast country, right? We will go from like northern.
Oh, really?
We go from like northern climate to like southern, and I mean, actually, there's like 10% of all plants and 14% of all animal species in China. Like, they live actively in China.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
How much we have in Canada?
But Canada's also a big country. Canada's the second
It's
biggest
big,
country.
but like most of them it's snow.
Yeah, I guess there's more variety in the climate.
Exactly.
In China, right?
I mean,
Because there's there's a desert. You know, it's close to like Kazakhstan.
Yeah. The northern part.
Yeah, like that's colder, closer
yeah.
to Russia, and then there's also like the sea where it's super
Yeah,
hot.
also like forest and a lot of different, geography.
Right.
Yeah.
It's smaller than Canada, but it's more
Yeah,
more
yeah.
variety. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more livable. I mean, yeah. So it will provide them with more opportunities to try different food. I mean, let's say you're dying of hunger in Canada, I would still not be able to eat, I don't know, like an armadillo here because they don't exist here naturally. I mean, I would love to, but they, they don't exist. So I
Fair,
mean,
fair.
that's you know, because like I mean, in the West, most countries are in the northern hemisphere, so they kind of ish have like similar variety of animals that lives there. And yeah, so that's the baseline. So yeah, geography is different. They have more variety of species, and just to give you an example, like other places that have the same similar geography or similar animal living there, they will also tend to eat those quote unquote exotic foods. Let's say for like I mentioned armadillo, and not only it is used in Chinese traditional medicine, but it's also a dish that originated in South America. And
What is it like? How is it used in Chinese medicine?
it can cure stuff.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
crazy. What? I
mean,
wouldn't have guessed.
I mean, there's a lot of random stuff they eat in Chinese
Chinese medicine.
medicine. I'm not exactly sure what they do for armadillo. It's but like yeah, you cut me off. But like in South America, they're also eaten. It's like a dish that it's actually pretty popular and is also got brought up to the States with like, you know, no the
Armadillo
yeah,
was brought
'cause,
to the
like,
States. Really?
Just like the absence of wall.
Of wall.
Never mind.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
It's a staple in like barbecues or in a festival in Texas, let's say,
What?
or
Really?
like in Louisiana, Cajun country. It's also like
They eat armadillos.
I mean not commonly, but it's eaten. Like it's
That's
it
crazy. I would
exists.
want to try. I wonder how. Like, what does
Armadillo?
it? Wait, what does it even look like? Is it the animal that like curls up and that has a shell?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. You want to try that? I don't think they're pretty.
would wanna
I don't
try.
think they're good.
Like, just try.
They look tough.
I have kind of like the mentality of I want to try at least every food once.
No silkworm.
No silkworm. Like silkworm is like another type of low. Like not insects, please.
Whoa! And they make silk,
Yeah, like I would gladly wear their silk,
but
not
you wouldn't
them.
eat them.
No, that's why you can't eat
Wasteful.
them if you want them to make silk for you, right?
No, but you eat them like after they don't make silk anymore.
Oh.
That's making silk is like a part of their life.
Oh.
Yes.
No, thank you then. I'll just not eat them. There's no excuse.
Okay, so you don't want to try everything. What other food do you want to try? Actually, like exotic food.
I have a friend who told me that whale meat is actually not bad. He tried whale.
Really?
Meat. Yeah.
Because
I know
I
they're
heard
they're an endangered species,
yeah,
right?
'cause
But
the
there's
fin,
yeah.
the is that the whale fin or
the shark.
the
fins.
shark fins? Oh yeah, the shark fins apparently it's
But
not
that's
that
good for your skin.
Yeah, but it's not that. It doesn't taste that good apparently.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we're derailing. But you were saying basically, in regards to geography, like
Mhm.
since China has more of a diverse geography.
Yeah, it
and-
covers more type of lands.
Yeah.
There's more animals living there, so it provides them with the opportunity of trying different food. For right,
Yeah.
like I mean, if you always see like snakes around you, and they're annoying, and then I mean, if I have nothing to eat, I'll eat a snake. And apparently, snakes are pretty good.
Yeah, like snake soups. I've had
Yeah.
them in Hong Kong.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's good.
It's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Like I think just in general in history, people would tend to eat
What's
anything that's like locally available, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
yeah.
Also, like since now moving on after the availability of the resources, another point I mentioned before is the traditional Chinese medicine part, right? In traditional Chinese medicine, they tend to use a lot of animals or plants as medicines. So therefore, there's a close correlation between what you eat and their medical value, or we can say it like that.
When you say animals, is it different types of animals or different parts of a certain animal?
Both. So like in the book, there's like a book kind of that condensed Chinese traditional medicine. There's more than 1,500 different species that were mentioned in the book that can be used for their medicinal benefits, and also there will be different part of the animal that has let's say those benefits. For example, you can use the bear bile to cure liver and gallbladder problems, or let's say bat meats are used to treat asthma.
What?
Yeah.
So COVID started because people were trying to cure asthma.
but then they got asthma.
Oh my god. How the turns have tabled.
Well, I mean, actually, the turns have tabled. It's a good one. So yeah, going back to Chinese traditional medicine, the fact that it's normal for you to eat different animals and different part of them, and also they have benefits for you. It kind of developed into the culture of like believing it's okay to eat different type of animals. Maybe sometimes be weird, but it's like we're accustomed to it.
Yeah, like when you say weird, it's really that's more in a sense of a perspective, right? In the perspective of Chinese people, it's not considered as weird since, like you said,
right.
It's used in medicine. It has its benefits. It's used to like balance your health and your body. So
like they don't consider
it weird. Really like the term weird is more of a Western concept
from like the modern Western concept.
Yeah.
We'll touch up on that later because like I think that's a really interesting point. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. So now we're just like listing the kind of like baseline for why kind of Chinese people are willing to eat more type of or more variety of food. So first we said there's more variety present, and also it's not weird. It's actually accustomed for them to eat different type of food because Chinese traditional medicine, but also because religious aspects. I think this is the most important part. I think for me, because for Western.
Wait, you said religious?
Like religious, cultural.
What's actually the religion in China? Because I feel like most Chinese people are atheists, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking for now, first of all, most of them are atheists, so that will mean they don't have the restraint from like let's say or the taboos from all those Western religions against certain animals, but also like in ancient time, let's say, because that's when we developed the habits of eating all those food. They were more into like Confucianism or Taoism. I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think you can consider them as somewhat like philosophy. No, you can consider them as religion or like philosophic thinking. They don't have any like restraint on what you can eat or what you can't eat. Like they don't have any connotation with existing animals, putting them on a divine or divine level,
like just
or
like how
pedestal.
Muslim in Islam, like you can't really eat pork.
Let's say in India with the cows, I think they're really divine. Like there's this kind of thinking doesn't exist in ancient China. So for them, they can eat everything they come across. And actually, for a lot of for Chinese culture, like back then especially, they view humans as above other animals. So for them, animals are here to serve humans.
Does it come from Confucianism? Confucianism?
Yes. I'm not sure if we can see it comes from Confucianism. It's just like humans. I feel like before in the Western world too, the human has kind of this superiority complex against other animals because we are sort of different. But after in the West, there's Darwinism and the theory of evolution, and people started accepting the fact that we are not necessarily different from the animals we quote unquote came from. But this type of thinking never really happened in China until like modern days. Like for example, even I remember when I was young, I would tell my mom like, oh, but like we're the same as monkeys, we're all animals, and she got so offended. She's like, no, we're not. Like, what do you mean? We're not the same as animals.
Yeah, because there's this mentality where since we're conscious beings and we're able to formulate thoughts,
we have our writing, our society, so we're viewed as above them. Therefore, all the rest of the animals are here to serve us. So if I need to eat, if I'm dying of hunger, I will eat anything. I'm not gonna say like, oh, it's a cat, it's my pet, but I'm not gonna eat it because it's my pet because I'm dying of hunger. So yeah, that's a different value. I think that's kind of hard for Western civilizations now to understand, because they view a lot of animals, let's say dogs, as our friends, but this is a purely Western view or Western way of thinking, and I think it wouldn't be fair for the Western world to try to force other culture to adhere by this type of thinking too, because it's just different, right? From different part of the globe, we have different way of thinking and viewing stuff. So just to give an example, going back to the bat situation, actually there's has been a lot of different countries in the tropics that has been eating bats. But I guess for the European countries, it's pretty weird because in the Torah and the Bible, and eating bats is forbidden. So it goes back to a bit like there's some taboos in the Western religions that prohibit you from eating certain food, and therefore it's not really widely eaten in Europe, but it is in other countries. And also the connotation linked with bat is different. Let's say for European, if a bat flies into your house, it will be seen as,
Like bad luck,
bad luck,
superstition.
a forewarning of death. It's bad luck, it's not good. But like, let's say in ancient China, um, it can be considered a sign of good fortune.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So
And then tying it back to Chinese medicine concepts where you eat what you eat kind of helps
you-
you,
yeah.
gives you
strengthen that part of
your
you,
body
of your
slash
body.
your soul.
Mhm.
So if, for example, for Chinese people in their culture, if bat brings them good luck,
Mhm.
maybe they will think that if they eat them,
you will be lucky.
yeah.
But also like the idea of eating brains, helping you become more intelligent. I think it's still like a thinking that our parents kind of have. It's like eat what you need to strengthen, right?
Mhm.
So if you're stupid, you have to eat brain.
Maybe I need to eat more brain dipped in
We
hot
all-
pot.
We all need to eat more brain.
Okay, yeah, so that's interesting. Like if I do a little summary, it's basically in a religious and cultural point of view, China never doesn't really have any restrictions in
Mhm.
terms of
And on the contrary,
Of
it is
eating.
kind of like the animals are here to serve you.
yeah.
They're referred as like 畜生. So
yeah. And then whereas in Western countries
But
there are many restrictions
Mhm.
and then which creates then like a trickle down effect of like a taboo in the modern
Yeah.
day. But in China, since it has never been established,
Mhm.
this type of thinking has never been established, then
It's like natural for
yeah.
them to
Okay,
eat.
that makes sense.
Especially now leading to our fourth point, especially when you have nothing else to eat. Because obviously, like let's say like in good times you have all the choice of food. I think even in ancient China they will choose to eat something like rice with pork. I think everybody will want to eat that. But since in China throughout the history it has always been a quite populated country, unlike let's say in the Americas or other places, a lot of people, but also a lot of natural disasters means that for a lot of period of times during the history of China, getting food was pretty hard, especially for like farmers or just normal people. It will be hard to come across like quote unquote like normal food. I don't know, like wheat or rice, because rice is not produced in every part of China. It's really like a small part of China where rice is produced, and you have to. And since it's a absolute monarchy in almost all of Chinese history, you have to like it's either you're selling it to richer people or you give it to like the royal family. And in times where you have nothing to eat, then it leaves you with no choice but to opt for livestock. And that kind of explains why a lot of the quote unquote weirder food are eaten by people in the south.
That's
like in Hong
interesting
Kong.
because actually my grandpa, he's a farmer, and
Mhm.
then I remember him telling me that during his younger day, like when he was a little younger, there was a big famine in his village, and
Mhm.
he resulted in having to eat his dog, his pet. Well, he was really sad about it because
Cancelled.
yeah, no, but he was really sad about it
Yeah.
apparently because it was his pet. Like he viewed him as, his friend and
Yeah.
everything. But
If
you
you
gotta
have
do what you
to-
gotta do. Yeah, like it's either you or the dog. You
Yeah.
die because you're too hungry, or the dog dies to feed you. Right?
It's interesting. I'm gonna go back to that point, the famine during your grandpa's time, because it's an important example to like give you a vision of what I mean. But yeah, so if you're hungry, I mean, you will eat what's around you. And as I was saying, that's why a lot of people in southern part of China, like Hong Kong, around Hong Kong, they tend to eat a lot more of the exotic food, because in that place you can really salvage the land. You know, you can
Oh
really
yeah,
grow
because it's
rice or grow wheat
near the
near the
ocean. Yeah.
ocean, and there's a lot of exotic pets there. I mean, not pets, exotic animals there.
Pets, she says.
Silkworm is my pet. And yeah, I mean, also like I think it's interesting because it also links to the Western view of like, oh, Asian people, like Chinese people eating everything, because they were the first batch of Chinese immigrant going to America, and since they have developed that way of eating more diverse kind of food, once they went to America, they kind of got ridiculed by it, because I think it's like a way of alienating this new immigrant group. Also, Chinese people tend to stay together. You know, when you don't assimilate, people will want to kind of, discriminate against you. This is where the all Chinese people eat dog or eat everything stems from. It's kind of from like the Hong Kong immigrants.
Yeah, but it's kind of like what I find a little funny about this is that Western media, not media necessarily, but there's this view of Chinese people, like all Chinese people eating dogs because of a certain group's
Yeah.
like misfortune. They have to eat dogs because of the famine.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like in parallel to this, there's a true crime story where there was this plane that crashed, and the survivors, in order to survive,
Yeah, to
they had
cannibalize.
to
Yeah.
eat each other and then be cannibalistic. But no one's saying, sorry, no one's saying that, um, all of the Americans or whatever
Yeah.
kind of people they are, like, no one's saying that all of the Americans are cannibalistic. It's
Yeah.
just that they had to do what
They have to do to survive.
Exactly. And then it was the same thing for Chinese people, I guess,
Yeah.
during times of famine. And then
And also, it's a really small group. Like, I feel like the media, especially in the Western world, they tend to like make it so a big thing, like every Chinese people eats everything. But no, in like big cities, people eat normal food. It's
yeah,
not
for
a
sure. Like,
common
I'm sure
thing.
if you go on the street right now in China, in the middle of, for example, like a Beijing, you pick a random person and you ask them, would you eat dogs right now? I'm pretty sure they're gonna say
Yeah,
no.
exactly. It's like, yeah, it comes back kind of like a xenophobic view, and you want to alienate, or you view this group of people as something different, and you want to judge them for what they, like a small percentage of them do, or yeah, I don't know, want to look down upon them. It's, yeah, so that's also what I mean by like, you shouldn't stand on a high point looking down at other culture because they're different, because every culture is different. Like, who said that, let's say, you thinking that dogs are your friend and you shouldn't eat them is the right way of thinking, versus like, dog is an animal and I'll eat it if I have to eat it, or if I view it as the same as a pork, which honestly I feel like it makes more sense because they're all animals, right?
I think this ties into like maybe one last point, which is kind of a cultural bias. Because you're talking about how, like in some cultures, dogs are viewed the same as porks, as other animals equal to them, but then in others, they're viewed more as a friend, as a part
They're
of us.
elevated, basically. Yeah.
So I think this is instead of thinking of it in a way where like one culture is right and the other is not, it's more of a difference.
Yeah, just a difference, and accepting that people are different from you, right? So yeah, I mean, I want to go back to your grandpa's situation, the famine, because we were talking about like during harsh times, and I said like China has a lot of this throughout the history, and one of the recent one would be the Great Leap Forward, which is around 1960, I think. Basically, that was a movement led by Mao to try to become like quickly become a industrialized country, where when most people in China at that time can't even survive on like the production of food, right? And what they did during that time is like they wanted to centralize the production of food. So let's say as a farmer, you have to like give to the government a certain amount of food every every year or every few months, and that led to people dying from hunger. And we estimate like a 15 to 55 million people dying during that time of hunger because there was no food to eat. They have to give it to the government, and therefore to survive they'll try, like your grandma said, try to eat what they have, let's say their pet, or a lot of people will eat like rats, I think, during that time. You just result to what you what you can salvage.
Yeah, and then in terms of like other cultural
Mhm.
biases, I think there's also the concepts of what looks appetizing. There's like a lot of judgment in terms of
How a food look.
yeah,
Like
how a
you
food looks.
judged how silkworm look.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
do you know that it's actually so high in protein?
Really?
You will make your glutes go boom.
Would you be down to put it in your protein shake?
No. Oh man, protein shake.
Like, okay, so would you rather eat silkworms in your protein shakes
Uh-huh.
or brain?
Well, silkworm and protein shake. I'm not gonna taste it anyways, and it's extra protein.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, that's fair. But that's basically that's basically tying it back to
Mhm.
what looks appetizing and what doesn't
Yeah.
look appetizing, right? And a lot of the times, the food that's regarded as weird in China are food that looks unappetizing to another group of
Yeah,
people.
because
but
you're not used to eating those, right?
Yeah.
Like, say if you grew up eating silkworm, I don't think you'll find it disgusting. You're like,
Yeah,
oh my
exactly.
god.
So it
Delicious.
would look like something that looks unappetizing to a group of person would not actually look unappetizing to others.
It comes
yeah.
back to the fact of differences in cultures. Yeah, well, since we're talking about silkworms, I mean, a lot. It's apart from the fact that they're high in nutrition, but it's also because in China they also kind of have that mentality of like no waste, right? You don't want to waste a part of, like, say, pork. That's why we eat almost every part of the pork. But also for silkworms, because China produces a lot of the silk throughout history. And I mean, after they produce the silk, well, I mean, why would you want to throw them away? It's like
That's
extra
fair, that's fair.
protein.
It's kind of like how tribes would hunt down animals, and then it wouldn't really be considered as bad because they actually use up all the parts
Yeah.
of the animals.
Yeah.
They eat everything, and things for the parts that they can't eat, they use it up to do other make coats,
stuff
furs.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of that mentality of not wasting the majority of food. I mean, also, like, I feel like now, even in the industrialized, that's like a side quest, but like industrialized processing of food, a lot of like the parts that you don't, like, Western people wouldn't eat, like organs and stuff like that, they're putting into sausages. It's like they're made into food. You don't know because they don't look like the thing they are, but you're eating it.
Yeah, it's all comes back to presentation
Yeah.
and looking appetizing or not.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Okay, well, that's pretty interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, and also I don't think people realize that a lot of other countries also eat those quote unquote weird food. Because, like, I feel like they really associate it with Chinese people. But as we said before, a lot of other, like, southern countries, or like countries that has those type of species will also eat them. But also, like, even in some, like, Western countries, like French people also eat brain. Like, I think they have a dish in French cuisine, cervelle de veau.
Oh, really?
Yeah, tête de veau. They also eat brain. I mean, like,
I know that they eat organs, right?
yeah,
Foie gras.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like Chinese people eat organs too. But also, like, Russian people, they eat beef tongue. I don't know. I have friends who love beef tongues.
Beef tongue is pretty good.
Beef
Yeah,
tongue is good.
pretty good.
It can be weird for some people, but not for others. It's just, yeah, I think it really comes back to, like, what you view as normal or not in your culture, and to understand that other cultures also have their own point of view on that subject.
Yeah, that's very well said.
Yeah.
I think we should just have a little less judgment
Yes.
and try to broaden your horizon.
Yes.
If you feel like you're about to judge someone, take a step back. Take a deep breath.
But
And
also,
stop being a hater.
Stop being a hater. But also, I feel like it kind of has been accentuated now, since China is kind of like the number one, enemy of
Public
the states,
enemy.
public of the
Yeah.
especially after COVID. Yeah, so it's interesting, eh? Now do you know more about why Chinese people eat everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely things that I feel like I would have thought in the back of my mind, but
Mhm.
never actively, right? And then the fact that you laid it all down, like everything makes so much more sense.
And also I don't think like other people might have, because like for us we kind of know, because it's still kind of somewhat in our culture, in our mind. But like for, let's say, other people who are not used to think that way, or not accustomed with those way of thinking, I mean, it's interesting to know, I guess, especially
it's a
in
fun
those
little
times.
fact.
Fun fact, especially in those times where like tensions between
Tensions are rising.
tensions are rising. Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, we don't eat everything.
Anyway,
Anyways, yeah.
thank you guys for listening, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.